seen it, that bright orange book. It's everywhere, right? At the airport, on your friend's coffee table, all over your Instagram feed. It's Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And it got super famous for being like the anti-self-help book. So what's the deal? Why all the hype? Well, today we're going to break down its core ideas, which are pretty counterintuitive. Right out of the gate, the book hits you with this whopper of a question. Seriously, think about it. What if this constant chase for happiness, this nonstop pressure to be positive all the time, is the very thing that's actually making us stressed and anxious? It's a wild thought, and it basically flips the entire self-help world on its head. Manson has a name for this trap. He calls it the feedback loop from hell. And we have all been there. You feel a little anxious about something, which is totally normal. But then you start getting anxious about being anxious. Or you feel sad, and then you feel guilty for feeling sad. It's that second layer, that meta emotion, that just sends us into a total downward spiral. So how do you get out of it? Well, this is where it gets a little weird. Manson brings up something called the backwards law. Here's the gist. The more you desperately chase a positive thing, like being happy or confident, the more you're just reminding yourself that you don't have it, which, ironically, is a negative experience. But, and here's the twist, the moment you accept a negative experience, like, yep, I'm feeling anxious right now, and that's okay, that acceptance is in itself a positive experience. Okay, so if chasing happiness doesn't work, what are we supposed to do? Well, that brings us to the book's first big solution. It's not about trying to get rid of all your problems, it's about choosing better ones. Here's the reality check we all kind of need. Life is never, ever going to be problem-free. It's just not. So happiness isn't some final equation you solve and then you're done. Manson argues that true happiness is actually the process of solving problems. The key is to find problems that you actually enjoy solving. The struggle itself is where the good stuff is. And this quote just perfectly captures that mind-bending shift. Instead of asking, what do I want to enjoy? Ask yourself, what pain am I willing to put up with? I mean, think about it. You want the amazing body of an athlete? Great. Are you willing to endure the sore muscles, the 5 a.m. alarms, the boring diet? The quality of your life isn't determined by your successes, but by the struggles you're willing to embrace to get there. Okay, so this idea of choosing our problems sounds pretty good, right? But to really get there, Manson says we have to get real with ourselves and accept 3 pretty uncomfortable truths about how life works. First up, and this one might sting a little, you are not special. I know, that sounds harsh, but hang on, because it's actually one of the most freeing things you can accept. This constant pressure to be exceptional, to be extraordinary, is absolutely exhausting. When you accept that it's okay to just be average, to be normal, you lift this massive weight off your shoulders. It lets you just live and appreciate the simple things without constantly feeling like you're not enough. The second uncomfortable truth is all about what he calls radical responsibility. Now, this is a huge distinction. There's a big difference between fault and responsibility. Something terrible can happen to you that is 100% not your fault, but you are always responsible for how you choose to respond to it. That's it. That's where your power is, not in what happens, but in how you react. And the third truth? Oh man, this one completely rewrites the script on motivation. We all think it goes like this. Inspiration, then motivation, then action, right? We wait to feel motivated before we do something. Manson says, nope, you've got it backwards. He calls it the do something principle. Just do something, anything. That tiny little action creates a reaction, which sparks some inspiration, and that builds into genuine motivation. Action isn't the result of motivation, it's the cause. So how do we actually pick these good problems? It all comes down to our values. What do you actually care about? See, Manson breaks values into 2 categories. You've got your bad values, like material success or being popular. They're bad because they're external. They depend on other people. Then you have good values, like honesty, creativity, or curiosity. They're good because they're internal. They're completely within your control. Your values literally create your problems. So if you choose better values, you get better problems. Simple as that. This all leads us to the final, and let's be honest, the most famous takeaway from the whole book. You have to start thinking about your attention, your care, your emotional energy as a limited resource. Just think about it like this. Every single day, you wake up with a finite number of fucks to give. It's like a budget. So are you going to spend them on the guy who cut you off in traffic, on some rude comment on social media, or are you going to save them, invest them in things that actually matter to you? Your relationships, your health, your goals. The art isn't about not giving a fuck about anything. It's about choosing what's worth giving a fuck about.
So let's wrap this all up. If you take away anything from this, make it these three things. Number one, you have a limited number of fucks to give. Spend them wisely. Number two, happiness isn't avoiding problems, it's finding the problems you actually want to solve. And number three, if you're stuck, stop waiting for motivation to strike. Just do something. Action comes first.
In the end, this book isn't about being indifferent. It's about being comfortable with being different. It's about finding meaning and peace, not in being some amazing, extraordinary person, but just by accepting reality with all its flaws. It's about looking at all the chaos and insignificance of life and deciding to choose your joy anyway. So I guess the only question left is, what are you going to choose to give a fuck about today?